Uh, and, Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Chernevsky. I'm the host and producer of this podcast, is Uncalled For. You may have noticed we are not doing live Fringe this year because of a COVID outbreak in this very house. I myself was not affected, but other people were. And that is why we could not do live Fringe this year. We'll see about next year. So in the meantime, you get us for Virtual Fringe for the third year in a row. And want to thank all my guests for agreeing to the transition from in-person to virtual. And thank you. I couldn't do this without you, and you guys rock. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Welcome to this podcast is Uncalled For.
Well, the name of this podcast is Stuff Uncalled For?
This podcast is Uncalled For.
Podcast, all right. Well,
what's uncalled for about it?
What we doing at Tijuana?
And you're like, what did you just say?
It's a bit of a slap in the face and an insult.
And they're going to take you back home.
Oh, that's going to be great for the football chant.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's that character from Guardians of the Galaxy who takes everything literally?
Because it always happens. It always happens.
That is uncalled for, Michael.
And now, your host for this podcast, Mike Chernevsky.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast, and welcome Omega Edwards to the podcast. Omega, how goes it?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we'll start with how I met you in the first place. A little thing called Tales from the Interim Net. You are, by my counts, the sixth Tales actor I've had on the podcast. So, and that list will keep growing. Trust me. Yeah. Do you remember what part you played?
Yeah, I remember it was before the beard. It was I remember Diane. She was Madam Professor, I believe, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Madam. Yeah, the Mother Confessor.
Your film was my first one. Your film was my first film I ever worked on.
There you that is awesome. And folks, Tales from the Interim Net, episode Tau, Pedestal of Holiness. You'll see Omega there. Caroline was in that episode as well. She's been on the podcast. And Ellen, I've asked about getting her on the podcast. Still working on that. Maybe next season.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
That's dope.
So
it was long ago. Wow, it was almost I want to say 6 years ago.
6 going on 7. We shot that in 2015.
What? It was that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. The only thing changed was my beard. You still look the same.
Yeah.
I look like I aged for both of us.
Right. So I was your first acting gig. That's awesome. What have you done since, acting wise?
After you, it was Guardians of the Galaxy. I went down to Atlanta to film the second one, Volume 2. I played a Ravager in that movie, and then I did my own project, which was Street Runners. and we got accepted into the Kansas City the International KC Film Fest, and we won the award. And then I worked on another project. It's called The Best Day of Your Life, and that one won. We got accepted into the film festival again, or my second time in it, and it did good. It won the award itself. So now we're going to be premiering it downtown LA. So a lot of projects, and just kept going.
Cool. Now, talk a little bit about. I guess you're into rap music now, and
yeah. I guess when I was in the film world, they always said find things to keep you busy, because I guess between post-production and the time of just getting it edited and marketed and getting it submitted into film festivals, right? You have too much leisure time on your hand, and you're waiting for projects to come out that might take a year or 2 years. So I started exploring hidden talent that I really haven't used. I learned from my older brother, because he was real good at it, but I never applied it myself. So then I took it upon myself to kind of pick up the sword he put down, start sharpening and using it, and it turned out to be bigger than what I thought it was. I mean, I had done a lot of stuff in the music industry in just 2 years time.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's taking off. There's a lot going on in the music industry for me right now. It's like more than what I can keep up in the film side. Good deal.
And if I recall correctly, you have an album coming out soon.
Yeah. So just touch on that. That album was released last year, December 2nd, and it got a hold to us. Well, GT Digital, which is a small company that's blowing up rapidly fast as far as the music industry. It started in Houston, and now it's blowing up rapidly fast with the Latin culture. And they've been really gravitating to the rap industry, and Empire signed a deal with them as far as marketing, promotion, and artists. So Gold Toes heard one of my songs, which is the head guy of GT Digital. He loved music, and he, I guess, talked it over with one of the guys at Empire. They offered me a deal on the table, and I signed the deal. And now I have that same album re-releasing tomorrow under Empire, the record label.
Nice. And just timestamp for my audience. Tomorrow would be July 30th. So it will be out. So it will definitely be out by the time this gets out, whether it's Virtual Fringe or just on the podcast. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been a long journey, and the good thing I love about when I created this album, it was really taking old pieces of my life, my story, and just bringing it to surface. But I'm able to tell a story, like an auto book of Omega. So you get to really dive deep into who I am, and you get a little bit of the raunchy, you get a little bit of the rap, but you also get my soul. You get everything of me. You get the spiritual side of me, which leads to my second album.
Second album, all right.
Yeah,
that is awesome. Did I read somewhere that you're originally from St. Louis?
Born and raised.
All right. And you're in LA now, right?
Bro, I moved from St. Louis to Kansas City, went from Kansas City to Atlanta, came back to Kansas City, and now I'm in LA.
That's quite the journey. Yeah. Never been to Atlanta or LA myself. Of course, KC is home for me, born and raised here. And St. Louis is my second favorite city after Kansas City. Love it.
That's dope. You know what? In the rebuttal to that, Kansas City has became like a second home to me, because you guys' culture adopted me. Even though I'm from St. Louis, and sometimes people from Kansas City say, I can't understand how you talk, because of the country grammar, but you know what? They embraced me. KC Film really took me in and loved my projects. my music. Everybody's starting to gravitate to my music. I work with a lot of Kansas City artists, people that work under Tech Nine. His producer worked with me. So I worked with his video guy, Victor Dominguez, who also shot Tech Nine's In the Rock's Face Off video. So I got to work with a lot of different people, and that's all through Kansas City. So it's big shout out to Kansas City.
Yeah. So my big connection with St. Louis, aside from going there for a couple times for some video work and a couple conventions, mostly Rams games, because I used to be a big Rams fan, and then Stan lies them back to LA, and I can't stand them no more. but yeah, especially those Greatest Show on Turf Rams. Those were my Rams with Warner and Falcon. Well, that's
okay. So you know something. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's like with the Mo, we all under the same house. We just spread it out. We're two different kids. One's a little bit more different than more urban. One's more, Bay, but we're still under the house of Mo. So we're still the same people.
Oh yeah. And then after St. Louis, I'd say my second best city would be Houston, and that's because Houston. Yeah, and that's mostly because I have a family in Houston. I spent a week there when my grandmother was passing. Great city, great affinity for their teams too. In fact, the only NBA game I ever went to was a Houston Rockets game. They're playing New York, and that's when they had Yao and McGrady run the team.
Ooh, those are OG names. Okay, you got to see T-Mac. Okay.
Yeah.
Houston. You know what? I've been once for it was like to help some people move for us that flood. And I can honestly say I love Houston. My brother, he moved there as well, and he loves Houston. The food is amazing. I just can't wait to go back. I just really can't. The culture, everything about Houston is it's hospitality. I want to take care of you. So I'm down with the H-Town.
Yeah. Houston's a great town. Other parts of Texas, not so much. Had a bad experience in San Antonio. Really don't care to come back.
What?
Yeah.
I've never been. I heard great things. I've never been though.
Yeah. My experience was solely at the airport, which really is in the middle of nowhere. It's tiny as heck, and that wasn't my destination. The full story is I was going to Minneapolis, another great city, by the way, Minneapolis, Minnesota. To and from, had to take connectors at O'Hare in Chicago. And on the way back, got kicked off my KCI flights. Had to stay in Chicago overnight. And the only connector that was available was San Antonio.
So what did you do? Did you just sit at the airport? Or?
I was aside from having to go through security and have my bags checked by security, sitting around for a couple of hours waiting for the plane to get there to take me back to KCI.
I understand the airport. Yeah. I could get how a trip can go south just by a bad airport experience. So
yeah.
It just happened. To be honest, it just happened last weekend when I was supposed to come to do this same interview last weekend. We missed the flight
before the live shows got canceled. So yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's not because I got COVID, because I didn't. And at this time around, I got it back in April. It really didn't affect me all that much. But my sister and my brother, I live with my two siblings, and they both got it. And that's what happened.
Oh man, God. Yeah, that COVID, I'm staying away from it as much as possible. I don't want to deal with it. in LA, it's just like because they just almost mask free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared of a sneeze. It's like a sneeze was scary. And it's like, whoa up now.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. You gotta be careful with that. So yeah, that's the story of what happened. And yeah. Other cities, DC, I had a great time with that. I was a sophomore in high school when I went to DC.
I've never been DC.
Yeah, it's a great city. Great city. We should go sometime. My father's from Pittsburgh, so I kind of a lot of people assume that I'm from the East Coast because I kind of affected a little of my father's accent. Yeah, he's from Steeltown.
Oh, I mean, you do have that rough, like DMX kind of talk, like you just rough with it. So I'm like, okay, like you can hear it like scratchy, but it's like rough. Like I know what you mean when it comes to accents because I have country grammar. So when they hear the there and her, and it's just like, oh man, yeah, you're a Southern guy. So right. Even in LA, people ask you talk. Like, can I talk? He from St. Louis, say something, say her, say there, like Nelly. No.
And one other thing about St. Louis, I mentioned that this was the week I was there for a video job. I was at the Metrolink station there by the Dome, and there was a guy there. I said, told him I'm from Kansas City, and he said, "Oh, Game 6, 85."
Oh, he went into.
Yeah.
St. Louis people are like, it's just like, oh, it's a good sports like competitiveness when it comes to St. Louis and Kansas City because we had a championship team. I mean, it's still ours. I don't care what nobody says. Like LA won one, but we won it first. That's how I feel.
Damn right.
So you guys got 2 rings, so it's kind of like we, it's like this. It's like we're the mold. No, we're the top dog. It's going to constantly be that. But I can honestly say Mahomes has converted a lot of Rams fans to St. Louis.
I'll bet because the sense I get is that a lot of people are just pissed off at the NFL. They don't want to have anything to do with it. And I could see a good portion of it becoming Chiefs fans, if not because of Mahomes, because of the whole show me states thing.
Right.
Everything. I did not follow the turn to the Chiefs after the move because Clark Hunt, the owner, said, "No, there should only be one team in LA," and the only person talking about doing one team in LA was Stan. So, no, I adopted the other former St. Louis team after the Rams left. Cardinals. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I believe we had the Arizona Cardinals before they went to become the Arizona Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken. But don't. Yeah,
no, that's correct. That's absolutely correct.
That's not set in stone. It's just a rumor I heard.
No, that's absolutely correct. The Cardinals, the football Cardinals, they started life in Chicago, then came to St. Louis for a good 28 years before moving out to Arizona. So yeah.
I mean, you know your history, okay?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
I love pro football history. So much so, 99, going back to the year we won the title, I went to Canton, Ohio, because one of my favorite players as a kid was Eric Dickerson, and that was also the year he was being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I got to go and see that. Now that was,
man, that's back in the day.
Yeah.
Hey, salute to you. You're original. you are original.
Yeah. Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah. And that trip was also the last time I was in Pittsburgh, visiting relatives out there. So it was go to the ceremony, then spend the rest of the weekend in Pittsburgh, come back to Cleveland, cheer at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, then come back to Canton for the Hall of Fame game. And
that's a lot of moving.
Well, not really. Cleveland and Pittsburgh are pretty close to each other, about the same as KC and St. Louis, almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Canton, it's like just down the street. Yeah, about
three to 4 hours.
It's a 4-hour drive. 4-hour drive, yeah. So.
Okay. Interesting. I would never guess that. You learn something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Judy. All right. So we talked rap, we talked film. Are there any projects that you're any film projects that you're currently working on that you can talk about, or
film projects that I'm currently working on? Yes. So right now I am working with Maverick Movies and Maverick Entertainments. They have a deal with the production company Boo Boo Kitty Production, which is based in Texas. They have a show that they're working on called The Agony and the Ecstasy. It's kind of like it's a romantic kind of drama. There's a little bit of comedy in it because people have a lot of little things they throw out here and there, but for the most part, it's a drama series, and it's basically about a young girl that's dealing with mental health issues, where she's basically facing her alter ego in real life situations, and she can't decipher the difference. But her boyfriend is a street thug who's basically slanging and making his way. And he's trying to use all that money to start a record label. He wants to get into the music business. My character come in as Nate the Show Moore, which is basically the hottest producer in the city. I have two of the greatest artists from the city called Fountain City, Missouri.
Yeah.
Bunch of fountains everywhere. That's what it's known for, a bunch of fountains.
Yeah.
So we're filming around a lot of fountains. So right now, my character is basically playing a hot producer that's going to help the main character's boyfriend elevate his career, get him started with a record label, but me and him kind of bump heads because of the fact that one night when we were celebrating, everything was going good, and our artist got into it. One of his artists got into one of my artists. Basically a shootout happened. A girl got killed, and it was my artist's girlfriend, and he goes to jail. So then that starts trouble with my label, and now me and him bump heads, and it's a lot, man. It's a lot going on. I'm producing this film. I'm co-directing on I would say 2 or 3 episodes, not many, but I'm also acting as well. So it's a good project. It has a lot of raw new talent, but the talent we have on this project is amazing. Like, we got a girl that's the lead role, and she's basically about to be a finalist in the DJ Khaled's contest that she's working on for music. And we have another guy who's basically being a rising artist from Kansas City, and he got things going on in his world. So I don't know too much, but I'm just following what's on Facebook, and he's making articles and headlines and stuff like that. So we have a lot of good talent on this project, and it's something worth seeing in the next, I would say, year and a half we have it done.
Sounds about right. Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah, right now I'm just focusing on this podcast. Video work's been slow lately for obvious reasons. And I've been doing some other jobs too. So yeah.
Yeah, so how's the show with what we worked on? Are we gonna ever pick back up, or because I missed it.
So what happened? So fortunately, your episode is out, so you can watch it right now. I'll send you the link after we're done. And
okay.
And I managed to get 9 episodes total done. We just never picked the rest of it back up, in parts because people were moving out to LA, and I can't blame them.
I mean, yeah, I understand. I'm out here, so I get it.
Mhm.
Okay, well, hey man, I'm all for it. Man, that was like that was the start of the whole Omega thing. Like, I remember when you sent me the shot and they had my name, Lawrence Omega Elvis, I was like,
yeah,
my name is on the credit. Like, this is my first credit, like this is legit. I'm a legit actor. So
all right.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Glad to hear that. All right.
You gotta give credit where credit is due. I pay my homage to anyone that has any kind of help or influence in the Omega brand. And you were one of the first ones that gave me my very first role at that church. And the funny thing about that is the movie that we just shot and won an award with, and that's premiering downtown LA. We shot it at that same church. And
you shot the Pilgrim Chapel. Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. And funny enough, I found out about the Pilgrim Chapel from another film shoot with Richie Wolf and Sam Toddy.
That name sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that name sounds familiar.
Well, Sam has been quite active in the local film community and has expressed interest in being on the podcast too. And Richie's been pretty active as well. I worked with both of them at JUCO, doing student media. Richie directed. Sam was the lead in this particular film. He was a vampire who came to the church thinking that communion served the literal blood of Christ.
What?
Yeah.
Man, everybody's been working.
Oh yeah. And funny enough, about at the top of the hill behind that church is a Catholic school, Notre Dame de Sion, where I've taught a lot of chess classes. So that's one of the jobs I'm doing when I'm not doing. Yeah, that's one of the jobs I do when I'm not doing film or podcasting is I teach chess. So,
jack of all trades, man.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, right now in the off season, man, I'm just taking time, just spend time with the family. We're in LA now, so I was, I'm working out. I'm just back in the gym, training hard. And I have another show that I signed up for. We did it back in last year in May. It's called TNT Jackson. They redid the old TNT Jackson in the 70s with Gene Bell, and they redid it, and I'm in that as well. So after doing all these films and stuff, and that film is coming out soon as well on Amazon Prime. Right. So after doing all that stuff, man, you just need a break, man. And then I miss training. That's my love, that's my passion, just being in the gym and hitting the iron, just going hard.
Yeah, that's something I need to get back to is some semblance of shape. I need to lose a little weight, if for no other reason, to handle my blood pressure. So, yeah.
Just start with cardio. Just don't even touch the weight yet. Just start with some cardio, man, and just ease your way in. Don't dive in like everybody else.
I've been doing like walks in the park and just walking around. Everything. So
cutting grass. Anything, man, just anything just to get you active first. When I used to train, train clients, I tell them all the time, don't dive into nothing. You won't go and just dive in the middle of the ocean without knowing what's at the bottom of it because you don't know what's at the bottom of it. So my thing is take your time, learn the ins and outs, master the stuff first. Don't just, see a big guy like me or another bigger guy than me and just like, I want to do what he's doing. Don't do that. That's ego lifting and no. Right. So that's what I do on my off season. I just train and spend time with my family. That's my joys.
All right. Good deal. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about before I wrap this up? Or?
Oh man, I just miss talking to you, bro. It's cool. I'm vibing with you, bro. So cool.
Yeah.
It's whatever, man.
All right. All right.
So there's more to come, and whenever you out in LA, man, just holler at me.
I just need to get out to LA at some point. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And likewise, if you're in KC, just let me know.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you put me on this. Thank you.
All right. I'm glad you guys came on. All right.
Peace, man. Thank you.
This podcast is Uncalled For is hosted, produced and edited by Mike Chernevsky. Opening music is Cool Hard Facts by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetent.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. The outro music for all 2022 Virtual Fringe Festival episodes is Open Door by Little Glass Men, licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution license. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting platform. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/uncalledforpodcast, and check out our blog with show notes at uncalledfor.home.blog. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.